perfectly timed drama here. The Panthers releasing Steven Duncan after their 16-13 loss to the Vienna Vikings last week. Keep in mind, this guy was the MVP of the league week 1, just 3 weeks ago. Matt, what are your thoughts here on this big release from the Panthers?
Man, I mean, I could go on for days about this release. I was quite heated what was going on. I'm going to be forward. I do not agree with the release.
Right.
Duncan was 7-4 touchdown to interception ratio. Week 1 MVP, as you said. Had a pretty poor showing last week, right? But I don't think it's entirely his fault. It's difficult, right? He's moving over to Madrid to fill in for Helbig. It's a much more comfortable situation, I think. One bad performance necessarily, and he's gone, even though he had such a good first 2 weeks. Madrid seems so bonded. They seem so cohesive. It's such a good unit. He's got more support. Hopefully, they're going to welcome him in. Seems like he's doing well there. Like he landed like the other day, and he's already all over their socials. Seems like they believe in him, and I think that's really good. And also, he's coming in with a massive chip on his shoulder now. That's incoherently good. That's going to be a really good storyline throughout the whole season.
He has got to be absolutely fired up. Yeah, it's interesting, man. I did hear some kind of rumblings early on that the Panthers weren't so thrilled about Steven Duncan, maybe in the preseason or what have you. And I don't know how much of this decision came down just to this last game, or was this something they were thinking about? Obviously he had a couple plays, didn't play great in the last game. Couple plays that were poor decisions, especially with the sacks taken in the end zone that kind of really led them to end up losing that game. I think I'm with you though, man. I don't know, unless there's something, behind the scenes, or this is really something that's been in the works with the Panthers for a while. I don't think that I agree with this decision. I posted on social media a while back about the Raiders, getting rid of their quarterback after just a game or two. And it feels a little bit similar here, maybe not as severe, but not sure if I agree with this. And here we see the graphic for Steven Duncan, perfectly timing after he leaves the Panthers, getting picked right up by the Bravos. Just so you said, man, they had him on social media videos. He was there practicing with the Bravos like that night. What are you thinking, Matt? How is he going to plug right into the Bravos? Do you think he's going to be able to just step right in there and fill Chris Helbig's shoes?
Yeah. I think they're quite comparable somewhat. Right. They're bigger dudes and more physical. They can take off if they need to. But the receiver core and the running backs, of course, of Madrid, are just so vastly underrated. Mario Flores, one of the best complementary receivers. Better than Siestro, fans of Hamburg, what he brings to the table. They've got Dwayne Obi, who was incredible last week. Their offensive line is beefed up, and the defense is just a different monster. Like that Madrid defense, one of the best in the league. So they're going to be able to give the ball back to him, which is something that Wroclaw have not struggled with, but haven't exactly been the leaders in. And I think that Duncan fits superbly into a Madrid offense. Is going to utilize his skill set tremendously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And then what you mentioned a little bit earlier and can't be overlooked, he's going to be out for blood on this kind of redemption rest of this season, looking to prove the Panthers wrong. And he landed in a good spot, man. So that kind of ended up working out perfectly for him. That was crazy at the start of the week when we saw that cut and then him getting signed, picked up right there. I know we were talking about that. You had a little bit of that inside info, Matt. Yep. But this is a big one. Jeez. And then just from the chat, Super Rye 8899 says Panthers and quarterbacks is something to study. They had Lucas O'Connor and never called him back, and now this with Duncan. And then we're going to get into Urib, who they signed. He said Urib is not bad, but I think Duncan